Hey there, divination divas. Every time I start a video, I'm always like, what cute little thing am I gonna call them? And then something wildly inappropriate always leaps to mind first. And I have to control my impulses. So, anywho, it's Monday. It's a gray, rainy, winter New England Monday, and my back hurts, and I'm cranky. And so I'm making a little video, a walkthrough of a new deck to distract myself from being a decrepit old man. So this is the Wandering Star Tarot deck by Kat Pierce, and this was a Kickstarter that I backed, and it was in a typically Tom Benjamin fashion, very impulsive. I don't even remember where I saw it. It may have been like I was backing another deck and this popped up as like, you might also like this. But I did, I backed it. And so the edition that I got came with a lip balm. I weirdly love lip balm. I don't know why. I live in New England and it's dry in the winter. It has a very rosy smell, and my friend Liz, who is an herbalist, always talks about how rose is very healing. So it smells really nice. Rose is not like my favorite smell. I'm not going to be lie. I'm not going to be honest. Is what I was about to say. I'm not going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not my favorite scent, but I have seen evidence that it can be very relaxing and just sort of good for the old heart. So really lovely, and it has the I think this is. I don't remember which card this is. I'll tell you when we look at it. I don't know. It's Monday, right? Okay. So, Wandering Star Tarot deck. It's really pretty. There are some things you'll be surprised that I backed. This deck, anyway, is... I'm incoherent today. Why am I making a video? One of the things you'll probably be surprised by having backed this deck is that it has keywords on it. But I think they're really well integrated into the card, and I don't find them distracting. It's a very sort of female-presenting forward deck. So there are male-presenting figures in the deck, and maybe even a few sort of non-binary presenting, although I don't remember that leaping out at me. But it is mostly women. So, and that's neither here nor there. It is a thing that I just sort of said, oh, there's not a lot of men in this deck, which is fine, I guess. I tend to reach... I mean, honestly, lately, I was going to say I tend to reach for decks with a lot of balance. Lately, I'm reaching for decks that are, like, super simple, like this, you know? Like, this is what I've been doing all my readings with lately. Again, I think because my brain is so chaotic that it helps me focus to have really simple artwork. The Trinity Tarot, the little square Trinity Tarot is another one that I've had out. Because it's like there's so much going on up here that really simple stuff. This is not that, however, but it is beautiful. So, gorgeous box, you know, really nicely done, and it opens up like this and lays flat, and it's really nicely designed. And the guidebook is a really nice little guidebook. It's in color. It's got a page for each card, and it's got a quote for each card, you know, so it's not just the trumps that get quotes. All of them have a quote, all of them have a description. There's some spreads, there's a Wandering Star spread, some, you know, information by the artist, and it's really well put together. There's a lot of gold in the packaging and in the box and on the cards. So the back of the cards... Come on, cards. Yes, the back of the cards are also gilded, and then of course the sides are gilded. I think gold can get a little ostentatious, although I'm not mad at these. I think it's really pretty. One thing I've noticed with Kickstarters lately is, literally can't remember how to zoom in on my freaking camera. This is how brain dead I am. Whoops. Okay, we're literally not going to get concerned that I forgot how to zoom in on my camera that I've had for years and that I use every day. We're just going to not be alarmed by that at all. Anyway, let's look at some tarot cards. So there are 2 extra cards in this deck. There's the Mother Star, yes, and the Creator, no. They're sort of divinatory with a yes or no answer. And they're very pretty, and they will not go into the deck because I never really use extra cards. But here's the deck. So you can see there are keywords. I can zoom in a little bit more now that I've remembered how to do it. What a weird moment that was. It's been a weird day. Like I said, back pain, frazzled. I led a conference call today that was so rambling. It was insane. Like, I apologize to everyone that I was hosting the call with. Anyway, all right. So the keywords are in. I give up. The keywords are integrated into the cards. So though they are there and I can see them, I really don't. I'm not fussed about it. So here's the Magician. There's something very like deco about the art, I think, that I responded to, and it's got this very just stylish quality. I'm trying to think of the artist that it reminds me a bit of. I want to say Erte, who was sort of an Art Deco artist. Yeah, there's an Erte quality to this. Even Beardsley, I think, is who I'm thinking of. Aubrey Beardsley. Yeah, Erte, Aubrey Beardsley, these very kind of deco qualities. I like how I'm talking like I know anything about art history, but I do like those 2 artists. And so this kind of reminds me of that. So this is the High Priestess, which is on the cover of the box. There's the Empress. And it's just got these very like beautiful kind of portrait qualities. Here's the Emperor. I love the little owl on the Emperor because I like the Emperor. I know he gets a bad rap, but as I always talk about, all the cards are neutral. And I like that this Emperor has an owl. Here's the Hierophant. Alright, so this is like the one card I'm not wild about. It's not my favorite Lover's card. It's very like, Zizat, you know, whatevs. But it's fine. The Chariot. I mean, it's a beautiful card, right? It's just sort of like, I've like, oh god, lovers, you know, ugh. Strength. The Hermit. I really like this Hermit. It's very cool. She reminds me of like a character from a storybook in my youth. The Wheel of Fortune. I like this Wheel of Fortune too. You know, I'm not a fan of a lot of Wheels of Fortune. This one I respond to in a positive way. Justice. The Hanged Man. So you can see it's mostly female presenting figures in the deck. This is Death, Temperance, the Devil. I like this Devil. I like that it is not a value judgment on the Devil. There is some seductive quality to this. It's not all bad. In fact, one of the keywords is desire. I really like this Tower. I think it's very cool. The Star. The Moon. I think the Star and the Moon are okay. Like, they're not my favorites. The Sun, they're all right. Again, like, I'm just being nitpicky because it's a beautiful deck, and I'm just sort of sharing my responses with you. Like, obviously it's gorgeous, obviously it's beautiful. Were I to have designed this deck, I would have made different choices, but of course I didn't, and that's how this works. Judgment. And the World. And so the 2 extra cards would come at this point, when it comes in order. So now we get into the suits. Here are the Ace of Wands. The 2 of Wands. The 3. The 4. 5. 6. Another owl. I love an owl. I do. I'm just gonna get hipster for a second and tell you that I've loved owls since I was a little kid before they were cool. My grandmother knitted me a sweater that had an owl on it. It was a cardigan. It had owl buttons. My mother macrameed an owl that hung in my bedroom that terrified me one night, and I made them take it out, and I never saw it again. But I still love owls. 7 of Wands. 8. 9. Tensies. And then we get into the old courtsy poos. So here's the Page of Wands. And the Knight of Wands. I think the courts are almost all women except for female presenting figures, certainly except for the kings, if I remember correctly. And there's a couple animals. Queen. And there's the king. Ace of Cups. Damn it. 2 cups. 3. 4. 5. This one reminds me of La Llorona, but I can't do that consonant sound that Spanish speakers make fun of me for because I can't say it. I try. I literally cannot make the sound. I don't understand how to put my teeth in the right place. Here's the 6 of Cups. Stop sliding around. The cardstock is actually really nice. That sort of moving around is because I'm being careless, but it's got a lovely matte quality to it. You often with embossed decks in this way, you kind of get a ghost on the front, but there isn't. You don't really see that, which I think is a good thing because that kind of drives me nuts. Like, I think it's sort of ruining the face of the card in service to an aesthetic that's totally unnecessary. So this doesn't do that, which is good. 8 of Cups. And then 9. And the 10. And then we get into the courts. We have the Page. The Knight. The Queen. And the King. And then the Ace of Swords. 2 of Swords. I actually really like this 3, to be honest with you. You know how I am with the, with the swords and the heart, and even this one has keywords on it. But, it's still, again, artistically, I appreciate it. And I've been reading long enough now that I just ignore what I don't like in a reading. 4 of Swords. I don't ignore what I don't like in a reading. I use what I need and don't what I don't. 5 of Swords. So I don't need 3 swords stabbed through the heart to read the 3. 6 of Swords. 7. 8. 9. And 10. I really like this 10. It's a nice change. And now we have the Page of Swords. Knight of Swords. Queen of Swords. And the King of Swords. And then we arrive at the Suit of Pentacles. You know, the old Greek hero Pentacles. Super famous at one time. Not so much anymore. 2, 3, 'Sometimes I want to say something about a card and I'm like, should I say it? And I'm like, no, you're going to get comments about it. This one reminds me of like white Jesus paintings from my childhood. Now, it's not a comment on the card. It's a lovely card. All the white Jesuses in my childhood were very kind-looking people. But it just made me flash back to the one that used to hang over my bed. It's 4 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles. I saw a meme today that made me laugh. It was like, there's no white people in the Bible, so why do white people think Jesus was white? And it made me laugh, because of course we do. 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles. I'm going to get comments for that one for sure. 8 of Pentacles. I like the beehive. 9. Nines of Pentacles are always one of my favorite cards in decks. There's something very sort of serene and soothing about them. And this one has that quality, although it does have a bit of a mournful tone, which, you know, I'm not mad at. Here's the 10. And then we get into the page. The Knight. I was going to comment that I don't like unicorns in decks, but this is not a unicorn, it's just a very fancy horse. And so I'm okay with it. Why am I biased against unicorns in decks? To be totally honest, it just serves me up some Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if I had had a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper, which I wanted when I was a kid, I'd have gotten beat up. So it's just a little moment that we deal with. Queen of Pentacles. And the very cute King of Pentacles. So that's the deck. I really like it. Now, I mean, full disclosure, is this going to be a deck I'm like, it's going to become a go-to? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I do these walkthroughs. I did the, oh God, it's right here. I did the 5th Spirit, and I was like, I'm going to use this all the time. Haven't used it since. Not the deck's fault. I'm using, like, really simple decks right now. So, it's like, I don't know what's going to become a go-to deck. But there's no reason this one couldn't. And so often, like, what ends up becoming part of the rotation has almost nothing to do with the deck itself. And has everything to do with what I remember I have in my, you know, my collection, what I sort of want from a reading, the kind of reading it is. One thing, you know, I've been getting like more and more relationship readings lately, and when I'm doing a relationship reading, I love as neutral a deck as possible. Really, truly. I don't like the cards to tip the hat too much, because I want people to hear what the reading has to say and not be too influenced by, say, the 3 of Swords, you know, which might mean heartbreak, but it could mean any number of other things, given the context. So, when I'm doing a relationship reading, particularly when it's sort of an emotional one, I'm going to go for as neutral a deck as I can get. Oftentimes lately, those are pip decks. But there are others, like the True Heart, I actually really find very neutral, and like, weirdly, you know, the Anna Kay I sold and then bought it again because I sort of missed having it. I love the Shimmering Veil for that. Love the Japaridza for that. You know, and these are decks that are kind of always out now. But really, I'm doing mostly pip decks at the moment, again, because it's just helping me focus a little bit. So, you know, you can't really judge the quality of a deck or its success as a deck on any one reader's inclusion of it in their arsenal, because it's such a weird thing. I mean, there are decks that I used a lot that artistically I don't even really like that much. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but that they just kind of sing for me, or they have like the right quality that I need in a reading. I don't know why I'm emphasizing my words that way. So, you know, but like a deck can still be aesthetically pleasing and beautiful, and this one absolutely is. And you know, I was saying it has that deco quality, but it's also modern. And what I like about it is that it's modern, but it doesn't feel like cell phones and fax machines, which, you know, quickly become kind of dated. You know, this is both modern and timeless, which I really appreciate in a deck. So I think it's gorgeous. You know, it has some of the critiques I'm always going to have. It's mostly skinny people. There's no representation of disability. You know, like I just keep saying, people want to see themselves in these decks. Artists can do whatever they want. Certainly this is one of hundreds of millions of decks, but, you know, you just hope every time that there are going to be more people who feel seen. And I think it's slowly changing, for sure. You know what I mean? This is a deck with a fair representation. It is mostly white faces, but it's not entirely. So it does have that going for it. And it's gorgeous, you know? It's just that all of us can keep doing better and keep having the conversation. So I think it's really beautiful. I don't know, honestly. This just arrived today. I didn't even know it had shipped. Which is a thing I'm noticing more and more with Kickstarter campaigns, is that they just arrive and I have no idea that they shipped. Which, again, Kickstarter's not a store. And I try to remind folks of that. It's you're funding an artist's work. If you get something out of it, that's a bonus. Oh, that's not going to fit in the bottom. Do you know what I mean? So, like, yes, you fund a deck because you want the deck. But really what you're doing is you're funding an artist whose work you like enough to give your money to, and in exchange, a benefit of doing that is that they give you one of their product. That's what, again, I really prefer to think about it that way. So once I contribute to a funding, I try not to think about what happens next. Some creators are super, super consistent in updates. They will tell you when it's shipped. The Fortune Queens deck, which I backed, which is the Drag Race Tarot, that creator was super constant and consistent with updates. I know that deck shipped. I know it's coming from Mexico. I know it's going to take a while. The Tara Morandi, same thing. Very, consistent communication with the creator. And all creators do that. And, again, it's their prerogative. So this is a very long way of saying I don't know if this is for sale yet. But I will, if the artist does have a website, I will put it in the description below. I think it's gorge. I really do. I think it's great. And so I've nothing, aside from my little quibbles, which really have nothing to do with this deck and everything to do with tarot. It's great. And it's like, it's luxurious feeling cardstock, but it's not too stiff to shuffle. The gold isn't ostentatious. I don't find that distracting or off-putting as it can in some decks. It's not too much. There's no ghosting of the embossing on the back of the card on the front, which is nice. There's no bleed from the back of the card onto the front, which sometimes happens with embossings and gildings. So, I mean, from a production quality standpoint, A+. Beautiful artwork. I love that kind of, again, that tip of the hat to a deco, iconic style. I really like most of the cards a lot. I don't, it's Rider-Waite-Smith. I don't think there's anything revolutionary here, but I don't think it's intending to be. I think it's intending to tell this, I say more and more that decks, Rider-Waite-Smith decks are really in conversation with Pamela Coleman-Smith. This is this conversation with Pamela Coleman-Smith. So, and I think it's really successful in that way. So, I think it's great. There's nothing about it that I would say, no, be gone. So, anytime I talk about things like, well, there should, if there were more inclusion of disabled bodies, if there were more inclusion of gender non-conforming or non-binary people, like, yes. And there are ways to do that artistically that are both accurate and respectful. And a great way to do that is to talk to people who are non-binary, for example, non-binary. But that's my critique of almost every deck, so that's not exclusive to this one. It's just a consistent thing. But I really like it. So I will stop rambling. The Wandering Star Tarot Deck by Kat Pierce. Really gorge. Came with a lip balm. Smells really good. I'm going to go take a rescue remedy or something, because now I'm all wound up. And I have to go to the grocery store. Y'all, I have to go to the grocery store. I'm going to really need a rescue remedy. Alright, talk to you later. Be good.